And to put it as simply as possible, not without overstating or using fancy terminologies, it's time to move on. For too long we have settled for being stagnant, standing in place when God has been compelling us and calling us to move forward in our faith, move forward in our academics, move forward in our lives, move forward on our jobs, to move forward, to stand up and to stand out and to declare His glory. Not so much just verbally, not so much with just quoting the scriptures, but by the life that we live, but by the way in which we carry ourselves, by the integrity by which we stand, and the hope that which we declare by the way we carry ourselves. It is not so much that we need to openly beat people over the head with the gospel, but that we just live it out so that others will come and see, that they will taste and see how good the mercy and the grace of the Lord is. It's simply time to move forward. God is yet calling many of us higher. He is yet calling many of us and compelling many of us to go forward. Yet we are standing still. We are standing stagnant because we are afraid of success. We are so afraid of success that we have allowed ourselves to be bound and tied and held back because we fear to go and do what God has called to us to do. Either because we fail to believe that we can do it, or we fail to trust that God will do it. It is not in our own strength that God has called us, because if He called us in our strength, we will never get anything accomplished. But He has called us according to His strength and according to the power that He has invested in us so that we could move on. It's time to move on and stop standing still. It's time to move on. It's time to stop accepting less than what God has called us to be. It's time to move on. It's time to stop settling for the standards of this world when God has called you to live by a higher standard. It's time to move on. Simply put, without overstating the obvious, it's time to move on. We've outgrown the place where we're at because we no longer fit. God has matured us so much to the point where we can no longer even fit into the places we once used to go. He has set us free and called us to be His own. It's time that we learn to just move on.